Finding your direction, a career path, can be difficult. There's so many choices. Check out Life University and explore your options at their Eagle Madness Preview Day on Saturday, March 2nd. It's your opportunity to spend the day learning about their unique undergraduate programs like culinary nutrition, biology, business administration, and more. Come discover exciting majors and talk to current students and faculty at our beautiful Marietta campus. We'd love to see you at our Eagle Madness Preview Day on March 2nd. For more details and to register, visit life.edu/join today.
Extra 1063 and a Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Back Your Blue highlights special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Join a Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Matalon and host Tug Coward to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Now it's time to back your blue on Extra 1063 FM and the Extra 1063 app.
Welcome to another episode of Back Your Blue with Daniel Matalon of a Second Chance Bail Bonds. And today we have a really special guest, a super cool guy, Flynn Broady, the Cobb County District Attorney. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time to come over.
Thank you, Tug. It's a great pleasure to be here today.
My goodness, the service that you do to for the community is remarkable, and we can't show our appreciation enough. And that's kind of, Daniel, what this show is all about, right? Just showing our appreciation and hopefully giving back and letting people know the good that's happening in their community.
Absolutely, and DA Broady and his office has done a great job, and a Second Chance has been a supporter of DA Broady, and he's a great friend and great leader here in Cobb County.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, let's start with a little background, if you're all right with it. I'm a Navy guy, and you, Army combat veteran, and prosecutor, became the DA of Cobb County's Judicial Circuit on January 1st of 2021. And let's start back with the military, though. Going back to the Army, how old were you when you went in? 18, like everybody else?
I was actually 19.
19.
I went to college for a year and realized that's not where I wanted to be.
Same here. It's the exact same thing.
And initially I thought I was going to just do 4 years. Ended up doing 26 years because I loved what I was doing.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. And getting out was, becoming a lawyer was my choice because I was infantry while I was in the Army. And I wanted to do something where I could stay clean. And I said, well, I like to argue, so why not become a lawyer?
That's right. That's the best way to do it there. I love it. My story is so similar. Growing up in Northwest Georgia, up in Dalton, and went to school there at Dalton State College, and it felt like Southeast Whitfield High School, grade 13, And I remember telling my folks, I was like, I want to go away. I want to do something different. I want to see something. And up in Dalton, there's nothing but carpet mills. Everybody works in the carpet, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good way that people make their livings. But much like you, D.A. Broady, I was like, this is not what I want to do. And I remember telling my daddy, and he was like, well, what in the world are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know, but not this.
For me, it was a little bit different. My dad was in the military, and his father was in the Army also. My dad did 20 years.
God bless him.
And we actually had 1 year where we overlapped. But for me, I grew up wanting to be a military man. And when I decided to join, it was because I knew I wanted to be in the military, and college was not where I wanted to be. It was where everybody was telling me to be. And so I finally made a decision, let's do what I want to do. And that's when I ended up joining.
Yeah, that's awesome. Daniel, I know obviously y'all have a great relationship. How did y'all get connected? How do you know D.A. Broady?
So it was right around the time when he was running for DA in Cobb County, is when we got to know each other a lot better, and our relationship kind of started from there, and have been supportive of a lot of. They're doing a lot of cool stuff at the Cobb County DA's office, different programs and stuff that they've launched that have been extremely successul.
What are some of those programs?
Well, let me start off with
sure.
Why I love Daniel. When I first started running, and the first time I talked to him, we talked about some of the different things that dealt with the criminal justice system and how we could make things better. And a lot of the ideas that he had were things that I was thinking about. And so we really meshed well, and we were able to help each other gain access to different people that we normally wouldn't have had access to, so we could promote a better, equitable, and equal criminal justice system. So that was one of the things I loved about Daniel right from the beginning. Our wives know each other now. We're big friends. So he's been a great person for me ever since I've been in office. When it comes to those programs, the very first one that I like to think about is our early intervention court, which is now morphed into what we call an alternative resolution court. And basically what we try to do is we try to get nonviolent offenders out of jail as fast as possible. And part of that cooperation that we have is with the bonding companies, especially Second Chance, to be able to get them a bond that they can make and get out and get back to the community where they don't lose their jobs, they don't lose their homes, they don't lose their families. So that's one of the things that we try to do most, is make sure that people have an opportunity to continue on with their life if they're a nonviolent offender. For violent offenders, I'm not trying to give them bail. Because I know they want to hurt somebody in the community. But for our nonviolent offenders, we want them back in the community as fast as possible so they can be productive.
Mm-hmm. And so that obviously, you said you guys had that overlap, and you thought about some of these things before yourself.
Yeah, and it was coming up with ideas to maybe a little different way of doing things, and that's something that they've done at the DA's office, which has naturally made us huge supporters of something like that, right? I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, the story is, oh, well, you're a bondsman, so why would you want people to, nonviolent offenders to get? Well, no, because it's part of the solution, right? So we're about the people, right? And we're here to support our community and things of that nature. So having resources and opportunities for people to do stuff like that, will hopefully they won't show up again at his doorstep, to have to answer to charges or anything like that. So we promote that type of stuff in the community, and so we're all about it.
And the other thing that Daniel did too was they started looking at different ways they can help offenders. The monitoring programs, the watches, the ankle monitors, those different things that they started doing and working on to expand those programs for our offenders. And I think it makes a world of difference, because now we have a way to track somebody, a way to control somebody, a way to make sure that they're showing up for court without them having to be sitting in jail.
Yeah, it seems like a good step in the right direction. And we talked about it a little bit with the sergeant that came in from Cobb Sheriff's Department, and he was talking about how they're working inside the jails to give guys things to focus on. Maybe a guy that doesn't have a great education, able to get his GED. Guy that's never had any formal training or education, being able to go get a trade, to learn a trade.
Like welding
or
programs.
Welding, absolutely, all those. DA, that seems like the way to go, to give somebody something to focus on and work toward, to take away maybe some of the things that are going on, that are not as productive.
Yeah, the key thing for the criminal justice system is we have to understand that our focus is to rehabilitate people. We've been so focused on punitive justice versus rehabilitative justice that we forgot that these people, there's a reason why they committed these crimes. Can we look at that reason? Can we fix that reason? Can we put them on the right path to doing something productive? And so when they can get their education, when they can learn a trade, when they can do those things within inside, we're doing something for our community, and we're making it safer.
I love it. That's the goal, right, Daniel? I mean, that's
Absolutely.
what we all want. Everybody wants a safe community. I can't think, if you walk out in the Battery today here at Truist Park and be like, hey, would you like a safe community, or no, you would choose something a little more violent? Yeah. Who's choosing the violent?
Well, yeah,
Who's choosing? You know
that's
what
a
I mean?
great question, right?
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that, and that's what you guys in cooperation have really started working toward.
Yeah, solutions and it's working, right? So that's probably the other thing is what DA Broady has instilled at the Cobb County District Attorney's Office is working, and they are getting great results, and so it's a great things are happening over there right now.
I think that's the key, is the things that we're doing, we're making our community safer. And we're also providing an opportunity for some equality, some equity in the criminal justice system, because, we as citizens, we have to believe that it works, and not just for the rich and famous, but for everybody. And I think that's where A Second Chance comes in. That's where our programs come in, bringing some equity, bringing some equality to it, so everybody believes in the criminal justice system.
I talked about earlier in an earlier show, an earlier episode, about transparency and how important that is. And I feel like that gets left out a lot. I feel like the people up in Washington, D.C. are not very transparent at all, and it makes people question. Mm-hmm. And if you see something happening in a local police department and you're like, that doesn't add up, that doesn't seem right, and there's no transparency there, then the same questions pop up. When there's transparency, when things are going well, you talk about it, but when things aren't, you hit a road bump, things don't go well, you talk about it. You say, here's where our failure was, this is what we're working to do to fix it. And having that transparency, I think, creates an environment where people can go, okay, I see they're actually doing good work, or at least attempting to.
No, that's critical. Transparency is one of our utmost requirements to make sure everybody knows that we're doing the right thing, because we don't want people to think that we're hiding anything. By being transparent, sometimes we can get ourselves in a little bit of trouble. Based on public opinion. But the fact is, we're always going to do the right thing. Anytime we can't be transparent is because we have a duty to our offenders as well as our victims. Because sometimes we have to be a little tight-lipped on information because we're trying to protect everyone involved. But when that information is available to be released, we're quick to release it, and we do a good job of doing fulfilling our requirements as far as our Freedom of Information Act things are concerned, and just making sure people know why we do what we do.
Yeah, which is why you're on the scene yourself, Daniel, right? I mean,
right.
Just you have your own background and the things that you've lived through and gone through, and it is all about getting to that next level and helping somebody else, giving somebody a hand up.
Yeah, no, and sometimes you need that little bit of extra help, to help you make that next right decision, and that's ultimately when people come through our facility. We're like, listen, hey, this is the first and the last time, or sometimes you do need that second chance, obviously, but we encourage people to use the resources that they have access to through the DA's office, through the sheriff's department, different in the county, to hopefully prevent that next thing from happening. And, ultimately that's our goal.
It is so important that everybody's working together and all the spokes in the wheel make the wheel turn correctly and smoothly. And it seems like, the relationships y'all have at A Second Chance are pretty remarkable with the DA's office, with the sheriff's office, and then all around Metro Atlanta. And you even started with, new offices in Alabama, and you'll do the same things there. But it's all about relationships at the end of the day.
It really is. And I mean, that is the difference. And, for right now, especially even in Cobb County, we all work so well together, and it makes it so easy to support one another. And that's, to me, the teamwork is what makes this whole thing go. Yes, are we major players in this? No, we're just a small business wanting to help in the community, right? And then we're able to work with these agencies, which is great because they have open arms, and that helps. When you have an agency that's willing to allow people to come in and help in their community initiatives and things like that, it makes life a lot easier for everybody.
There you go. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Love having our DA here for Cobb County, DA Broady, and you're listening to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.
Finding your direction, a career path, can be difficult. There's so many choices. Check out Life University and explore your options at their Eagle Madness Preview Day on Saturday, March 2nd. It's your opportunity to spend the day learning about their unique undergraduate programs like culinary nutrition, biology, business administration, and more. Come discover exciting majors and talk to current students and faculty at our beautiful Marietta campus. We'd love to see you at our Eagle Madness Preview Day on March 2nd. For more details and to register, visit life.edu/join today.
What are your plans for your business this year? Hey, it's Tug. Do you want to expand and grow? Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you got a new person to deal with? You have to start all over again? You don't have that with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they want to know you. Unlike big banks, they want to partner with you. The Frost family knows the patterns. They know the ebbs and flows. They know business. Get to know them at FirstLibertyGA.com. Building a building, buying a franchise, expanding. Reach out to them. Spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. You do that at FirstLibertyGA.com. And by the way, if you're a young banker and want to work with a team that is faith-friendly and has a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to them today. First Liberty Building and Loan. FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
This is Back Your Blue, presented by A Second Chance Bail Bonds, live on Extra 106.3 FM and streaming for free anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue with the folks from Second Chance Bail Bonds, and we've got a special guest, D.A. Flynn Broady. He is the Cobb District Attorney. So many things that y'all are involved in, obviously trying to make the community a better place, and Daniel and his team at A Second Chance do that same thing. You guys work in cooperation and have so many great relationships throughout the community. And it seems, Daniel, that everybody is rowing in the same direction at this point. When it comes to the Cobb Sheriff's Department or the DA's office or A Second Chance, everybody seems to be communicating well and rowing in the same direction.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been my experience. Over the last few years, there's been a lot of positive things happening and initiatives happening, and they've gotten great results.
But Mr. Broady, because there's a lot of negative press that gets put out there, and I think that's the beauty of this show. We talk about the things that are happening in the community, like the public safety appreciation luncheon that happened, recently over at the Roxy Theater. I mean, we're highlighting when people are doing good, and I think that's what I would rather see than flip on the news at night and see all the bad things, right? Because it seems like the good always gets overshadowed. Even though there's plenty of good going on, it always gets overshadowed by the bad stuff.
No, you're definitely right. If you look at the news, you would think that we were the most crime-ridden state in the world, because that's all you see is about murder, rapes, and missing children and things like that. But the fact is, Cobb County is probably the safest county in the metro area. Not probably, it is the safest county in the metro area. And we're doing a lot of great things to continue to build upon that to make sure that we stay that way. Some of the programs that we're looking at is the things that we do with our juveniles. Our juvenile court does a great job. They've got two programs that they really focus on. One is called the Rising program, where they take kids who are subject to gang membership and who have gotten in some trouble, and they put them through a program that helps them get their heads on straight, helps them get their education together, helps make sure that they're going to go on to college and do good things. The other one is we have we have a gang prevention specialty court, which for those youth who have been identified as gang members, there's a program that we put them through basically to show them that this is not the life that you want. This is not the direction that you want to take your life, and that it really has a quick ending and can really put a damper on any chance of success that you may have. So our juvenile court does a great job with those two programs. Judge Grannis is fabulous with his Rising program. I had an opportunity. They just recently had a graduation where they graduated 6 youth from that program, and all of them were fantastic youth.
That's cool.
At one time we're going in the wrong direction, now have been changed around. Some of the things that we do with my office is, we're focused on reaching the kids as early as possible. So we're going to the schools, we're talking to the kids, doing everything we can to foster a strong relationship so they can understand that there's someone here that they can look at that looks like them, that's been through the same things that they've been through and have come out on a good end. My biggest program that I really focused on is the All Pro Dad program.
I love it. Oh my gosh!
You know about the All Pro Dad?
I've been to All Pro Dad for my son's now a college baseball player over at College of Charleston. We went to All Pro Dads his entirety of elementary school. Tony Dungy's program, who is an incredible man, and that's an incredible program. It's 30 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes in the morning before the kids go to school, or at least it was where my son went to school. And I have such fond memories of going to it. Not only was the message good, D.A., it was just the time being able to to spend that time with my son early in the morning.
Exactly.
Just and going through just quick and easy questions and answers, and he would write down what he thought of me, and I would write down what he thought. I mean, that was just one example. All Pro Dads is the best program I can remember in his elementary school years.
You know, the thing I like about it is you start off with that pride moment when you tell your kid how special they are, what a great person they are, and it makes a difference in these kids' lives.
It does.
From what we found is that when dads are involved in their kids' school, we get better outcomes, and it doesn't necessarily have to be dad, but any male figure in that child's life can be a part of it. And we recently had a meeting at Compton Elementary School, and we had at least 3 moms show up with their kids. But just to see these kids' faces when they're talking to their parents, when they're interacting with one another, it's just an amazing thing. I literally almost came to tears because it was just a fantastic scene to see these kids so involved in what they're doing. And this is our second year at Compton Elementary School. We had some returning parents, and we had a whole bunch of new ones. It was just a phenomenal event.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations! I know y'all are super proud of that because
we are definitely proud of it. It's one of the things that I love to do, to the point where I was supposed to be on my way to a conference, and because we meet so early in the morning,
Sure.
I said, I'm going to this meeting first, and then I'll head to the conference.
That's right. Got to get your priorities in order.
Exactly. Got to get the priorities in order because our kids always come first.
And they're worth it.
It's definitely worth it. Just to see those kids with their fathers is just an amazing thing.
It's the best. I love the fact that you pointed that out because I think that gets overlooked so often. Of course, mamas are, there is nothing that will replace the love of your mama. Nothing. But it is equally important that dads are involved in their kids' life. And I'm so glad you said it because it doesn't get said enough. And it is so very important, so very valuable. And I hope everybody that has listened to this and don't know about All Pro Dads will go find out about it. And if you don't have it in your school, you'll ask for it. I still follow them on all the social media channels. I just love it because I love Coach Dungy. I think he's such a great man, and his program is unlike anything else that I've ever. Have you ever been? Have you seen All Pro Dads?
I have not actually.
You got to get there. Or maybe if they don't have it at the school, ask for it because it is so. It's just sweet. I mean, like when you're looking for things in life. It is just sweet. You just see these kids, and DA's exactly right. When these kids light up, it's like I can remember when my mom and daddy would come and just eat lunch with me at school. I thought that was the greatest day of the school year when one of them could make it over.
Now that I've done for
sure.
Yeah,
right, of course, yeah, which is great. And this is just a little bit a notch above that because there's actual interaction. It's not just sitting and eating and how's your day.
Right.
Like there's a reason behind the assignment that you have, and it's terrific.
Yeah, the organization's put together a program that takes you through different things and teaches the kids things, and I think it's even more beneficial for the dads than it is for kids.
Me too. Yeah, it is. Just to see your kids when you ask questions about each other and it could be as simple as this, Daniel. It's like, what are you proud of your son for, your daughter for today? What is
right.
it? And you could pick a myriad of things, and it sticks with them. My son still talks about it. He's playing college baseball, and we still occasionally, as we're talking, there'll be those memories of going to early to school and sitting down in the library in the media center and doing All Pro Dads. Man, there's just nothing like it. So great programs that you are doing at the DA's office. That's just one of the many that you're involved in. Are there others that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, we do a REACH program where we take a kid from the Cobb County School District, and we mentor him for 4 years.
Nice.
At the end of that 4-year term, he gets a scholarship from the school for $5,000, and then they match that scholarship, so he gets $10,000. He or she
whomever
will
gets
get $10,000 to go towards their future education, and I think that's a wonderful thing because it gets these kids exposure, and they don't pick kids who, are the 4.0 kids. They pick the 2.2, the 2.5 kids who, without that extra push, are not going to go to college. And so the facts say when a kid is mentored, there's a 55% better chance of him going on to college, getting a further education. And I think that's critical for all of us.
No doubt. No doubt, Daniel. This is another thing that I do through my church. We have a program. It's called Kids Hope, and it's the same thing, And so I've been mentoring this little boy for probably 4 years now, I guess, and he's getting ready to go off to middle school, I guess he is in middle school now. It goes all the way. It's through the elementary school years.
Right.
And much like the DA's talking about and that you've talked about in your own business there at A Second Chance is just being there for kids, especially when they don't have anyone. And that's kind of what y'all do. I mean,
right.
People are at their worst moment when they reach out to you. They
right.
don't have anyone. You become that person.
Right, and it takes time, to go through the process sometimes, and, depending on, the nature of your case. But, yeah, I mean, and we're doing something similar in that, in guiding them to the right resources, because most of these people have been kind of turned upside down, for the most part, and it's, trying to find their way. So we provide those resources.
I love it. I'm telling you, this is such a good thing. This is why I love doing this show already. We're new to it. It's we're on episode 3, and we're so glad that you're here. But just again, I think people are looking for hope. They're looking for wholesome. The world provides all kinds of bad and negative, and we want to be the exact opposite of that. And it sounds like your office is right in line with that. So it's so great to have you here. Not only the youth initiatives that y'all are doing, but there's also an elderly abuse. Or actually, let's go to the Second Chance desk first. Let's talk about that, because that's something that goes right in line with A Second Chance. Tell me about the desk.
The Second Chance desk is an opportunity for those who have a criminal record to get those records restricted. Georgia passed a law a couple of years back which basically says if you have a misdemeanor and it's been 4 years since you concluded your case, whether it was probation or jail or whatever, after that 4 years you can apply to get that restricted so it doesn't show up on your record when you're going for housing or going for employment. Usually that costs money, because you have to hire an attorney, you have to pay for your criminal history, you have to do all these things as far as filing and all the paperwork. Well, with the Second Chance desk, in partnership with the Georgia Justice Project, we do all that for free. So if you're eligible to get that stuff restricted on your record, you come into the Second Chance desk. They do all the paperwork. They pull your criminal history for free. They do all the paperwork for free. They do the filing for free. Everything is done free. And then, boom, it gets cleared from your record. We just started the Second Chance desk in November of 2021. So we're about to come up on the second year, and we've already helped over 1,000
Wow.
Cobb Countyans clear their record.
That's great news.
And what that means is better jobs, better housing,
Opportunity.
better opportunity, and that's critical to continue to make sure our community is safer by doing those things for it. Now, I've got to give some credit to my predecessor. She did a record restriction fair, and then my first executive assistant, she came up with the idea of putting the Second Chance desk, and it took us a while to get it together. But once we got it together, it has been doing phenomenal things, definitely helping out people here in Cobb County.
I love it. Those are, again, back to Second Chance. I mean, obviously the name crossover, but y'all do something very similar. You're giving someone the opportunity to have the chance to clear their name.
Right, and we encourage people to participate, obviously, and stuff like that. And then even taking it a step further, we have job recruiters and placement people that we actually give to our people that have been on bond with us, they're able to apply for these jobs even with criminal history and things like that. So I mean, the name of the game for us is getting those resources out there into the community, and it's bigger than bail bonds, right? Bail bonds is just how we all happen to meet. Second Chance is like a whole nother level of
sure.
layer of things,
Sure.
And that's kind of where I come into play, and that's the most rewarding thing for what I do, right? It's not the bail bonds part, it's the community piece.
Well, that and relationships that you build.
Right.
I mean, with the DA and with the officers that we're in, some of the defense attorneys. I mean, at the end of the day, life is all about relationships. That there's nothing, whether it's at your church or at your school or at your office or wherever it is. I mean, life is about relationships, and that's something that I felt like that I wanted my son to understand. You do good by people, and it doesn't matter what happens in return. It's not about the reciprocal. But if you can pay it forward, if you can do something kind for someone once a day, you can change somebody's entire day, sometimes their entire week, or sometimes even their entire life.
No, the trajectory that we can place people on by doing the right thing is just unbelievable. And that's why I love Daniel so much, is because people don't understand how critical somebody like A Second Chance is for the community. Because when you go into the criminal justice system, if you can't get out of jail, you lose your job, you lose your home, you lose your family, you lose all those things. So when they can get out of jail on a timely basis and can continue on with their life, especially for nonviolent offenders, most of the time that stuff is going to work out. And when it works out, their life continues to go on and continue to do better. But if they stay in jail for a year and then lose everything and then the charges get dismissed, they've lost a year. And now trying to get it back together is just hard. It's hard enough out here now. For us to have to take a year off from a job is just crazy. And so that's why it's so important for the work that they do and the solutions that he's come up with. As I said before, the monitoring, the watches, those things are just unbelievable, because they allow us to put people back into the community, allow them to be productive, and allow them to show that maybe this is just a glitch. This is not who I am. This is just a glitch. Let me show you who I really am, and move on from there. With our early intervention court and our alternative resolution court, the key was to get people into treatment and counseling and things as quick as possible, because lots of times you linger in the criminal justice system anywhere from 2 to 3 years. With these new programs, you're really only in the justice system for 6 to 9 months. That's a big difference, a huge difference. And that's why it's important that we continue to do these things.
Are there any of these programs that you're working on now, whether youth or just people who need some assistance, need some guidance? Are there future programs or anything in the works on how to lend a hand and help people there from the DA's office?
Our biggest thing is our Family Advocacy Center. Domestic violence is like that hidden crime in our communities where people just don't see it. Because the sad part about it is most time you see a domestic violence crime reported, it's not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or even seventh time that they've been abused. It's the 8th time and beyond, or it's the first time that they felt that they were going to get killed. And so with our Family Advocacy Center, what it's going to allow us to do is, for those who are abused, it's going to give them a place to go where they can get the resources that they need to get away from their abuser, whether it be job resources, housing resources, child care resources, all those different things that somebody who's been abused may need. The Family Advocacy Center also helps our elder abuse victims, because it gives them a place to go where they can report this abuse. Because lots of times our elderly, they're embarrassed when they've been taken, when they've been hoodwinked. They're embarrassed to report this stuff. So this gives them a place to go and say, I need this, I need that. And our folks at the Family Advocacy Center are going to be sort of like a resource key, where when you come and tell your story and they figure out what you need, they're going to be able to get those resources to you to help you be able to continue on in the community as a productive citizen. And I think that's critical for our community. Georgia is one of only 4 states that don't have a Family Advocacy Center. Most of the country calls them family justice centers, but I didn't want it to be associated with just criminal justice. I wanted it to be something that people knew this is a place where I could
positive.
Get help. Again,
it's more positive.
Yes.
It's as simple as that, or at least it sounds that way to me.
Exactly. We are going to open up our Family Advocacy Center December 15th. We've invited the governor and First Lady Marty Kemp to come to speak. We're hoping this to be the start of something that's going to help this community tremendously, because wherever these centers have been located, there's been a reduction in domestic violence, a reduction in domestic violence fatalities, a reduction in just harm general to the community. So I'm hoping and doing everything we can to continue to put programs in place to make Cobb County the best place to live, work, and play.
Yeah, which I think, Daniel, you would probably agree with that. One of the premier spot in Atlanta to live.
Oh yeah, I live in Cobb County myself, so yeah, I would agree with everything that DA Broady says, and that program obviously is something that we would support as well. A lot of this stuff happens. It starts with the domestic violence, right? So like it spins off, and the crimes can become more serious as a result of that. So look, if you can get out ahead of it, that's why would you not, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point. As we talked to DA Broady, there's so many good things that are coming out of the DA's office and then the sheriff's office, as we talked in a different episode, and it's just super encouraging. I want to go back to really real quick to the Elderly Abuse Task Force, because that's another thing that gets brought up a lot. And you hit on it just a little bit when you talked about people being embarrassed that they've gotten tricked, they've gotten taken advantage of. Nobody wants that to happen. Nobody wants to admit it. But sometimes, DA Broady, I imagine people don't even realize it until it's too late. It happens, and then 60 days later or 30 days later, the credit card bill comes in and somebody has gotten access to their account or whatever. So it takes a little while for it to even catch up and for them to even realize it.
No, and that is so true. And one of the things that we're working on here in Georgia is we're talking to our legislators to get them to change the law. Because the sad part about it is you can be a target from somebody from Seattle, Washington. And because that person doesn't live in Cobb County, we can't go after them because we don't have venue for them. We're trying to get the law changed that if you're targeting someone in our county, that subjects you to venue in our county. So we're working on that to change the law to make sure that we can, if you're coming after our citizens, we're going to come after you. Simple as that. But like you said, most of the time people don't realize it till it is too late. Because I've had that happen to me where,
Me too.
Where I'm checking my credit card statement and I'm asking my wife, "What is this?" Right. I don't know.
I have no idea. I thought you were going to tell me
all the time.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, and especially today with the way people order online and things and it's not like it pops up grocery store or it's like some code that doesn't even make sense. You look at it and you're like, I have no idea what this is. Right. If you don't know the exact amount, you probably get caught up with that, and it is difficult. If folks are in a situation where they find themselves being taken advantage of that way, if they're elderly, is there a way that they can reach out? Who do they reach out to?
Well, the Elder Abuse Task Force is located with our Sheriff's Department. So they can call the Sheriff's Department, get connected to the Elder Abuse Task Force, and they will do the legwork on the investigation. And then once they've done the legwork, then they'll pass the case to us for us to prosecute the person who's doing this harm.
Okay. And then what about the other programs, whether the Rising program or the Gang Prevention Specialty Court, the Second Chance, just any of the programs that you brought up? How do people learn more about them? Maybe it's not them that could benefit from it, but it's a family member. If
you go to our website, cobbda.com, you'll find all those programs. You'll find all the contact numbers for them. There's so many different things that we have. One of the things I didn't talk about was our accountability courts.
Yes, sir.
Because with our accountability courts, we try to those people who have serious problems, especially for substance abuse, we put them through an accountability court program to help find their triggers out, to help them get job resources, get housing resources, do all the hard stuff that they need to do to get better. Because the sad part for a lot of us is we don't know how to get better. But with our accountability courts, the intensity of the counseling, the intensity of the accountability, drug testing, all the things that they do helps them get to the point where they can get better. So anybody who wants to get better, and they got to want it, if they want to get better, they'll get better. And what I did when I came on board was I said for accountability courts, it usually takes anywhere from 24 to 36 months to complete those. And these are not slaps on the wrist. These are you're working seriously hard to get yourself better. And in doing so, I said, if you can complete accountability court, we're going to dismiss your charges. So that way you can have a clean start once you've gotten through the program.
That's impressive. I like it. I can't wait to see that implemented. And I guess, how long has it been going
on? Literally, I started it within a week of me coming on office. Okay. The very first week I was in office, we brought in some of our veteran court folks that had completed the program, and I dismissed their charges even though they had been out of the program for 2 or 3 years. And I did that because, I was the very first coordinator for our Veterans Court here in Cobb County. And I know how hard these folks work to get through the program. And then the fact that they're veteran and have served our country, I thought they deserved that.
There you go. When we come back on Extra 106.3, we talk about the opioid project and how it's helping families here in Cobb. You're listening to Back Your Blue. We got the folks from A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We got DA Flynn Broady here, the Cobb County District Attorney. My name is Tug, and we are Extra 106.3. Is this the year you want to grow your business? Do you want to expand your team? Build a new office? Hey, it's Tug, and I want to tell you about First Liberty Building and Loan. Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you're dealing with a new person? You won't have to with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they can help you too. They know the patterns, they know the ebbs and flows, and they know business. Now the Frost family wants to know you. FirstLibertyGA.com. Buying a building, building a building, buying a franchise, or expanding. Reach out and spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. FirstLibertyGA.com. By the way, if you're a young banker and you want to work with a team that's faith-friendly with a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to First Liberty Building and Loan at FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
Finding your direction, a career path, can be difficult. There's so many choices. Check out Life University and explore your options at their Eagle Madness Preview Day on Saturday, March 2nd. It's your opportunity to spend the day learning about their unique undergraduate programs like culinary nutrition, biology, business administration, and more. Come discover exciting majors and talk to current students and faculty at our beautiful Marietta campus. We'd love to see you at our Eagle Madness Preview Day on March 2nd. For more details and to register, visit life.edu/join today.
Extra 106.3 and a second chance bail bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Back Your Blue is what you're listening to on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Coward, along with Daniel Madelon. He is the CEO and CEO. Is that the right CEO of A Second Chance? Is that the
me, yeah.
There you go. That's just such a big title. I'm not used to sitting with CEOs. You know, I don't get to do that very much. DAs either, for that matter. Yeah, I feel like y'all brought the house today. I feel like I'm in good company. But A Second Chance Bail Bonds. Where can folks find y'all online?
ATLbail.com.
Easy enough.
Is our website. Yeah.
There you go, atlbail.com. And talking to DA Flynn Broady, and you guys have the opioid project. I want to talk about that and how it's helping families here in Cobb.
I think it's another one of those hidden problems. Opioids have been destroying families in the Cobb County area for a long time. One of the things that we're working on is we have a couple of different organizations. We have an opioid fatality review program where basically someone in my office looks at every opioid overdose that we have in the county. And they talk to the families, they talk to their friends, they look at what caused this person to go down that path. Is there any points where we could have intervened or done anything different? Okay, the opioid task force, it does a little bit different stuff. We're looking at the places where people are getting their opioids. We're looking at places where people are overdosing. Where can we put Narcan? Where can we put the supplies that they need to be able to make sure if somebody does go into this situation that they can recover? One of the things that's important for all Georgians to know is there's an amnesty law here in Georgia. If for some reason you're in a position where you're doing opioids and somebody loses consciousness, don't try to clean up the scene. Call 911, get help to that person. By doing so, we can save lives. But the other thing about that is because you've called and we're trying to save this life, you're not going to be charged with the police come in and find all these drugs in your location. Because what we've seen happen is they're having a party. Someone goes out, they clean everything up, and then by the time they get help there, it's too late for the person. So call 911 immediately. You will be given amnesty. We will not prosecute you because we're trying to save a life. And that's in the law here in Georgia. So people need to know that. If you know you use opioids or you know somebody that does use opioids, you need to have Narcan. You need to have fentanyl test strips, because what we're seeing now is in order to make these drugs more addictive, they're adding fentanyl to everything, whether it be marijuana, pills, everything. And fentanyl tolerance is not something that we develop overnight. So if you take fentanyl for the first time, it might be your last time. So people need to understand that. You need to know what you're dealing with. So if you have fentanyl test strips, you can test, and if it has fentanyl and you don't have a fentanyl tolerance, you don't take it. So that's what the opioid task force is, getting the message out to our community to make sure we're doing everything we can to help people understand how bad this is, and just to help them get the help that they need when they need it. We have the Recovery Roundtable Council. It meets at the Davis Foundation, commonly known as the Zone in Cobb County, where they provide a place for people to go to seek active recovery, to understand what it is they're going through, get like-minded people to help them get through this issue. Because I'm tired of every morning coming in and I'm seeing a death investigation on my report, and that death investigation says narcotics were found. And we're looking at 17, 25, even sometimes 60-year-old folks that are using these opioids and dying of overdoses, and lots of times it's because it's tainted with fentanyl. And we're just not getting out the message good enough for people to understand how bad this is.
Yeah.
So that's what these organizations are doing. We're just trying to make sure that we're saving lives.
Yeah, which is the most important. And Daniel, I know you are a big supporter of the DA and the DA's office. And do y'all help them promote that, or do you just push it out on social media, or what's the relationship there? How can you guys lend a hand?
Well, look, I mean, I think it's awareness, right? Making
sure.
people aware.
Shows like this one,
right? Like this, right? I mean, it's like, hey, look, this is what's going on. This is, and we see it, right? I mean, I've had exposure to this myself personally back in in the early 2000s. And turn my life around, but I will tell you, it's a different age right now. I mean, this is not anything to play around with. I mean, I've witnessed it in a lot of cases throughout Georgia. The fentanyl is one of the worst monsters I've ever seen
nationwide too. It's not just here.
Yeah, and it'll take you out, like D.A. Broady said. He's your first time might be your last time, and that's what you're seeing. I mean, and I have even people, real life stories of people that have been on bond with me, actually in Cobb County. Recently just found out from a dad that the kid had passed away.
Oh, my.
Not long ago in Jacksonville, Florida, fentanyl overdose. And it was off of one prescription pill, right? So, it's like you can't even trust, a prescription at this point, just because they're getting access to it on the street, and then next thing you know, you take it, and then it's game over. Yeah. It happens that quick.
Such a sad story. So in the last couple of years, have you seen a change in the number of opioid deaths and crimes related to opioids?
I would say it has gotten worse.
Oh, gotten worse? Oh, my heavens.
And because fentanyl is so inexpensive, and now the dealers are lacing everything with fentanyl because the high is so intense that people keep wanting to come back. And that's where the biggest issue is. And it goes back to our ARC court, where we're attempting to get people into treatment as fast as possible, because the quicker we get into treatment, the better results we get. But I would say 90% of the people who actually are doing this don't come in contact with the criminal justice system until it's too late. And that's where the issue is. That's where we need to drive our awareness of what's happening here on the drug scene here in Cobb County or anywhere, to make sure people understand that, every time you take something, you're putting yourself at risk. And the sad part, most of these people, they start off with something innocent. They get an injury. They start taking an opioid. They get addicted to it. Then even after the injury is healed and everything, their body chemistry needs that drug to continue to feel the way that they were feeling. So they're not intending to get addicted. It just happens. And people need to be aware, once you start going out on the street to buy stuff, you don't know what you're getting.
No, that's right. Oh my gosh, and I'm sure you've ran across that too with people that you're helping, with their bail bonds or whatever.
It's scary.
And like you said, you have people that pass away unexpectedly, like that you're working with.
Yeah, it's happened. It is literally real life happened. With us at a second chance, and it's sad. I mean, and it's kind of it infuriates me, because it's like, this is just wild that we've never seen anything quite like this, the way this is happening. So anything to promote awareness to prevent this type of stuff, we're obviously all on board for that.
No question about it. So website, Cobb DA, did I get that right?
CobbDA.com.
Look at there. Look, you and I both got it today. We're getting yeses over there. We got it all right. CobbDA.com, and we want to just tell you, thank you, DA Broady, for your service to the community. Thank you for service to our country and the Army. It's you've lived a life of service and a good example for everybody that you represent. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Todd.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And Daniel, just wrapping up here in this show, anything that you want to leave folks with, how to get in touch with you, or any other messages that we want to pass along?
ATLbail.com and 404 bailout is our phone number, and that's about
Do
it.
people still call? I don't think people use phones for calling anymore. Do they do that?
They still do.
Surprisingly,
we have
yes.
we keep every open line of communication possible. So
That's right. Daniel Madelon of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and Cobb District Attorney Flynn Broady. This is Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. What are your plans for your business this year? Hey, it's Tug. Do you want to expand and grow? Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you got a new person to deal with? You have to start all over again? You don't have that with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they want to know you. Unlike big banks, they want to partner with you. The Frost family knows the patterns. They know the ebbs and flows. They know business. Get to know them at FirstLibertyGA.com. Building a building, buying a franchise, expanding. Reach out to them. Spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. You do that at FirstLibertyGA.com. And by the way, if you're a young banker and want to work with a team that is faith-friendly and has a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to them today. First Liberty Building and Loan. FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
This morning in North Carolina, wheels are spinning. Determination is winning. A passion is now a thriving business, and it shows no signs of slowing down. How? The power of a conversation, like the one Clint Spiegel had with First Horizon Bank about starting a bike wheel manufacturing facility in Asheville. Now it's not just talk, it's rubber meets road. First Horizon Bank. Let's find a way. Go to firsthorizon.com/Clint. First Horizon Bank, member FDIC.
Finding your direction, a career path, can be difficult. There's so many choices. Check out Life University and explore your options at their Eagle Madness Preview Day on Saturday, March 2nd. It's your opportunity to spend the day learning about their unique undergraduate programs like culinary nutrition, biology, business administration, and more. Come discover exciting majors and talk to current students and faculty at our beautiful Marietta campus. We'd love to see you at our Eagle Madness Preview Day on March 2nd. For more details and to register, visit life.edu/join today.